Okay, everyone, this is Rebecca Gaetz-Bishop over at Keller Williams Premier Realty, and today we are going to talk about home inspections. Well, let's just give a little scenario here. Let's say that you are a buyer and you're writing an offer on a house. At the time that you write an offer on the house, part of the contract will ask you what kind of inspections you would like to have done, such as a home inspection, a mold inspection, a lead-based paint inspection, radon inspection, perhaps a well and septic inspection, depending on the house. Those are some examples of inspections that are often asked for when a buyer writes an offer. Keep in mind that that is in your offer, and we're going to pretend that the seller has agreed to all of your inspections. Who pays for these inspections? Well, the buyer that decided that they wanted these inspections will be the one that will be paying for the inspection. However, if there are contractual repairs that need to be done as a result of the inspections, the cost of those repairs is then on the seller. So let's talk about what kind of repairs are contractual. So if you have a home inspection, what is covered under that? Well, the home inspector, who again is a generalist, okay? They don't specialize in a specific area. They are a general contractor who is going to go through the house and inspect everything. That doesn't mean that they will know everything about the air conditioner. If they see fit and to cover their little booty, they may say, it appears that the air conditioning is not functioning correctly. We recommend that a licensed air conditioning professional further evaluate. That's totally normal in a world of lawsuits. That's what home inspectors have to do. So, what are the items covered? Roofing, electrical, plumbing, heating, cooling, material defects. Those are the items covered under the scope of the home inspection, okay? We also then have mold inspection if the buyer requested it. We also have the radon inspection if the buyer requested it, and the well and septic. Some houses obviously don't need this, but in a house that has well and septic, it's definitely recommended that you have a well and septic inspection. So that may be an additional inspection that the buyer chooses to have. And keep in mind that each one of these inspections, home inspection, radon inspection, mold inspection, well inspection, septic inspection, they all have their own cost because they're different people, different specialties that will need to come out there to inspect those. Okay, so let's pretend that the roof is old, but it's not leaking and there are no missing shingles. Is that covered? No, it's not. It is not covered under the repair amendment because it is still functioning, working properly. What if your air conditioner or your furnace is 40 years old? I bought this place here. The furnace was from 1960, so what's that make it? God, like almost over 60 years old. The furnace here was over 60 years old, but it was still working. Wow. They don't make them like that no more, do they? So it doesn't matter if the furnace is old, as long as it's functioning, we don't get to ask for a repair or a new furnace. What if there's a fireplace in the property? Is that covered? Well, that's only covered if your agent put on the contract as an additional inspection, fireplace/chimney. So again, everything has to be written and it has to be agreed upon. So let's say we get through the inspections, we write up the repair amendment with the contractual items. What happens now? So seller has to agree to making the repairs. If the seller refuses to make the repairs, remember these are contractual repairs, then the buyer can walk out. Bye-bye, get their earnest money back. However, we're gonna assume that the seller is agreeable to making these contractual repairs, which would make sense because if they lose this buyer and put the house back on the market, they're now going to have to disclose these deficient items on their disclosure. So they're gonna have to update their disclosures and let all of the new potential buyers know that these items are deficient. The seller then has time to get these repairs done. Generally speaking, these repairs need to be done at least 5 days before closing, and the seller needs to provide receipts or invoices to show that they have been paid for, that they were completed, and who completes these repairs? Well, again, it generally states on our contract that they need to be completed by either a licensed contractor or someone who is qualified. Many times, these items that the seller agrees to complete and has done, if it's something, let's say it was radon that they were having completed, the invoice for that can generally be paid for at closing. So the seller doesn't necessarily have to pay out of their pocket to make these repairs. It can be taken care of at closing and come out of their proceeds from the sale of the house. So as a real estate agent, when I'm working with a buyer, I always recommend that you have a home inspection. It's good to know what to expect, to know of any hidden items that you weren't aware of. And many times the seller's not aware of these issues either. It's not like they were being deceptive. I've never had my house tested for radon. On my disclosure, I'm going to say, no, I'm not aware of any radon, but I've never had it tested. So if somebody came and tested for radon and it was elevated, I didn't know. Can't disclose what you don't know. And oftentimes that's what happens. Sellers simply do not know some of these items until the house is inspected. During that home inspection, they're always going to tell you about maintenance items and make recommendations on what the new homeowner should do, okay? Because these are not contractual items. Maybe some grading along the house. Maybe your furnace is older, so that you may want to start saving up for a new furnace. These are recommendations for the new owner for the future. We can't ask the seller to make maintenance item repairs. Bottom line is, get your home inspection, have your agent go through it with you thoroughly, make your repair requests, and hopefully you're going to get to closing. You're going to get into your new house and things are going to go well. Unfortunately, things do happen. A house is like a living, breathing item. So your furnace could go out the next day or a week later, and it's part of home ownership, unfortunately. If you have any further questions in regards to what a home inspection contains, how it's done, and what the repair amendment looks like, feel free to reach out to me.